back to the Mindbender Mental Performance Podcast.
EP. That's EP 160, Part 8, Book Breakdown, Chapter 8, Fielding and Base Running. Again, that's Part 8, Book Breakdown, Chapter 8, Fielding and Base Running, from the book Heads Up Baseball by the great Ken Revizza and Tom Hanson. Welcome back to the Mindbender Mental Performance Pod, the only podcast that former Licey baseball great Enrique Byrones makes players fuerte en la cabeza. And Enrique Byrones not with us today. However, el lugar es aquí, el momento es ahora. Wherever you are, the place is here and the time is now. We're taking it from the clouds to the dirt where it can grow. It's all about showing up, man, being present, knocking down the mental and oftentimes emotional barriers that get in the way of consistent and confident performance. Today, we're diving into Chapter 8. And yeah, for those of you who are wondering, I did go San Antonio Spurs, Robert Horry. I am going back-to-back episodes. Today, we dive into Chapter 8, Heads Up Baseball, Fielding and Base Running, the often overlooked cornerstones of elite-level championship baseball. These ain't just about glove work or swiping bags, right? Not about just swiping the big pillows they got out there now. It's about locking in when nothing's happening. When the two things that are guaranteed that Augie Garrido talks about in baseball, boredom and frustration, happen, it's preparing for the chaos before it arrives and holding yourself to a fucking standard. Not to stats, not to scoreboard, a standard of focus, a standard of process, a standard of preparation, a standard of pre-pitch and release routines, regardless of whether the crowd is watching or not, because it's what you do in private that you're rewarded for in public. So let's talk about fielding from Chapter 8. The mindset of hit it to me. Here's the truth. Defense isn't sexy until it wins you a game. Some people say. I think it is very much that. I often like to ask guys, knock a pocket, throw somebody out, pop a barrel. It's like 30% all across the board, 30, 30, 30, 33, 33, 33. Then it's everything. You can rake all day, but if you give up runs with your glove, you're a liability. Great defenders just don't hope the ball doesn't find them. They want the ball. They say, hit it to me. So, and that starts with three things. We go self-control, plan, trust. Self-control. Errors don't come from your glove. They come from your head. You overthink, you tense up, and the next thing you know, you're booting a routine grounder. The best defenders are loose, locked in, free and easy, soft hands, choosing confidence, and they do that pitch to pitch. Right? So between every pitch, lock in and anchor down with your breath. Bounce around on your toes a little bit. Say, let's go. Hit it to me. Get your eyes locked in and focused and be where your feet are. You need to ask yourself, am I playing defense with the expectation the ball will be hit to me or the fear that it might be? Right? I realized I only wanted the ball when I was ahead in the game. Fuck that. You got to want the ball when it matters most, because the best teams and players don't always win. It's the teams and players that play the best that win. Number two, you got to have a plan. In our self-control, plan, trust model, number two is plan. Anticipation is everything. Great fielders are great anticipators. They consider who's hitting, who's running, what the fielding surface is like, where people are positioned, what pitch is coming, where the ball is likely to go. You just don't wait for a play. You create your opportunity by being mentally ahead. So use that time, because the mental game lives in the 10 to 15 seconds in between pitches, to visualize a ball to your left, to your right, in, back, fly ball, slow roller, double play. Think about what you are doing if and when it comes to you. Do I anticipate the play or do I react to it? Right? That's really, really important. You need to picture it before it happens. If you're visualizing game speed in between pitches, your first step won't be late when it happens. And the third step is trust. All the planning and self-control in the world means nothing if you freeze when it counts. When the ball is hit, you have to fucking trust your preparation and go. What's it going to be? Confidence. Hit it to me. Free and easy. Soft hands. And then step into your circle of focus with that intention. Let your body do what it knows how to do. When the game speeds up, do you tighten up or free up? Do you want to move toward the ball with faith, not fear? You got to train for that, right? I move to the ball with faith. soft hands, free and easy. I train for this. Talk to yourself. Make an error? Welcome to baseball. But don't let one play fuck up the next one. You need a release routine that says, that shit's behind me. I'm ready for the next one. So what? Who cares? What's next? Or you can use what? So what? Now what? Those are great release statements. And we'll talk about release routines here in a little bit. But, some things you could do. You could take your glove off, right? Taking off the last play. Right? You take your glove off, you can take your lid off, you can breathe, you can turn your back from the play, right? You can turn around and disengage for a moment. Then when you turn around, you're locked back in for that play. You can pick up some grass, you can squeeze the frustration in your hands and toss it out. You can wipe away the dirt with your cleat. You can look to the focal point. We suggest the left field foul pole, let it go, right? Left field foul pole is always going to be there. That's where you can take your breath. So what's going to be your go-to release when the shit hits the fan, right? When the garbage comes, because it will when the adversity hits. What series of steps do you use to release, to flush it, and bring you back to execute the next pitch, right? Do you take your hat off, you breathe, and then when you put your hat back on, then the play, that last play is dead. Next pitch, right? Let's talk about base running and the next base mentality. You want to be a threat every pitch? Well, that starts in your awareness of the situation. You don't have to be fast to be a great base runner. You have to be smart. Quick feet help, but quick minds win games. So when we go through our process of self-control, plan, and trust, right? Self-control. Just roped a single, great. Now you're a base runner. And if you're still thinking about your at-bat, you're going to get picked off. So check in, right? You in green light, you in red light on the base. I think there was a story about the great George Brett. He had his 3,000th hit. He's just soaking it in. He's on first. Pow, gets picked off. Lock in. Green or red lights, right? Then breathe. Check that focal point. Get that cue word, right? Know the situation. Know how many outs there are. Know who's pitching. Know where people are positioned. Be aware as a base runner and have that next base mentality. It's not just enough for elite players to get on base. They want to score. So ask yourself, am I still stuck in the box or am I 100% locked in on the next base, right? Don't go congratulating yourself after a hit. Get to work on the path, right? Then plan. Good base running is a strategy in motion. You need to know what to do before the ball is hit. You need to know the outs. You need to read the outfield like we just mentioned. You need to know what to do on contact, a wild pitch, a bunt, a double play. Do you anticipate opportunity? You just hope I don't fuck it up, right? Pre-pitch planning every scenario. So when it happens, you just move. You don't think. Trust. Third step, trust in base running. As soon as you take your lead, trust mode kicks in. This is reaction territory. No time for doubt, fear, worry, tension. Eyes locked in on the pitcher, no drift, no daydreams, just presence and pressure and presence and locked in. Present over perfect. Be in process. Do you make base coaches responsible for your base running, or do you own it? Do you trust your eyes and your read? You're the one running, not your coach. For coaches, remind your players to breathe. Point to their belly. Point to your belly and let them know, hey, man, get into your belly. Get a little belly breath going. Tell them to fucking breathe when the shit gets tight. Emotions hijack ball players. You want calm, clear, present players. Then you have to teach them how to be calm, clear, and present between every pitch. Teach the 4 parts of the breath. Inhale, hold, exhale, little bit of a hold. 4 parts to the breath. Teach the release, the 3-step release routine, physical action, breath on the focal point, verbal trigger, and reward players who bounce back, not just players who don't mess up. There's a great story of Augie Garrido. I forget where he was coaching at the time. Might have been Texas, could have been Cal State Fullerton, but he had a first team projected All-American on his team. I think it was the first game of the season. Pitch on the outer half gets called a strike. It was clearly a ball. The dude ends up striking out to end the game with the bases loaded, right? And here's Augie's coming off. Let's call the kid Steve. He's like, Steve, great job releasing that pitch, man. That's what it takes to make this team a winner. That was absolutely beautiful. Did you guys see Steve release that last pitch? That was awesome. Hey, Blue, that other pitch, that was on you. You suck. Steve, great job, Steve. Steve's like, what the hell? I just struck out to end the game. But he was bought in to the process. He was bought in to the process. So make sure that you're bought into the process. Make sure that you're bought into a standard, not to the scoreboard, right? You got to teach them and reward players who bounce back, not just the players who don't mess up. Ask your team postgame who made the best adjustment and release routine after a mistake today, who played with presence pitch to pitch mentally and physically, who put pressure on the defense with heads-up base running. So this week, your job is to develop your personal pre-pitch routine and at the very minimum, taking a pre-pitch breath, right? Practice a release routine after you make a mistake. Go to that physical action. If you're a hitter, unstrap, strap the batting gloves back on, look at the left field foul pole, take a breath, let it go, then go to your verbal trigger, this pitch. If you're running the bases with the next base mentality, do that even in BP, baseball practice, not batting practice. Do it then. Don't expect to do anything in a game that you're not going to do in practice, because practice is where the action is. Para mis jugadores latinos, más línea, más vida. Hasta la próxima. Recuerda, si quieres ser un jugador disciplinado, comprometido y preparado en el futuro, empiezas esa mierda hoy. Se necesita lo que se necesita y lo mejor está por venir. Until next time, remember, if you want to be a disciplined, committed, and prepared ball player in the future, you start that shit today. It fucking takes what it takes, and the best is yet to come.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.